And good morning from Puerto Rico. Uh, we've got three of the members of the Click and Learn team here in Puerto Rico for a week. And two of the guys, the other two guys, Mark and Matt, are out exploring. They have driven. We have an Airbnb in San Juan municipality. Just and the guys are heading down to Ponce and Santa Isabel to explore and take pictures and just enjoy being here. And to me, I am just excited that they were here. We had our programmer here for a couple of days, and the, it is so exciting to get together with some of these younger guys who know so much more about technology and can help me set this up. And I'm often not even sure uh, if this is even working. So that's what uh, the guys Mark and Matt are helping me with getting this set up. But I want to talk about Puerto Rico. Last year we did our team building meeting in Salt Lake City. It was a fantastic time. The guys went out hiking. We went out to the salt flats out towards the Nevada border. And it was just an incredible time because we got, we've got three different generations in our group. We've got, I'm the oldest, I'm like almost 80. And that's why I'm at home when they're out exploring because I can't hike into the waterfalls or and even getting to the ocean. They took me to the ocean a couple of times, and yeah, I had to use my cane to get out there a ways. They were holding me from bouncing around and falling in and drowning because I had the car keys, of course, and we needed a way back. But and finally, they put me into this inner tube that looked like a flamingo, big pink inner tube, and it was. I thought this is silly, this is embarrassing, but on the other hand, who cares? The guys enjoyed it, and I enjoy hanging out with the younger generation. And our programmer is about actually, I think he's 55 now. He's about uh, 25 years younger than I. And Mark and Matt are 25 years younger than our programmer. So we've got all of this talent. My talent is I got plenty of time to sit here and do this. And I have a love for geography. That is my mission. Uh, I think geography knowledge is really important, but we'll get into that through all of these live streams. I'll talk about that in every live stream, I believe geography knowledge is important and why I think it is important. And if you follow along and watch any of that, you'll see all of that as well. Uh, but I want to talk about what drew us to Puerto Rico. I have been to all 50 states and over the years, and I've never been to Puerto Rico. So, uh, and I'm still learning. I see that we had a visitor come in for a second there, and the visitors left, and that we're down to zero visitors watching, but that's all fine. But I want to tell you why we got interested in Puerto Rico. It's a place that you can get to easily from any of the 50 states. It might take a hop or a layover or something, but you can get there. And it's also, you can get there without a passport. Now, I had a passport about 20 years ago and it expired because I don't know if you have to do it every 10 years or what the deal is. But so here we are. And just shortly after we decided on Puerto Rico, I got this book, and it's from the Who Was series. And it's all about Puerto Rico. It's a really interesting book full of facts and information. We read through that. We thought that's kind of interesting. But also, at the Super Bowl, someone from Puerto Rico was the main headliner. And that was someone called Bad Bunny. I know nothing about Bad Bunny or anything. And then at the Kentucky Derby, uh, I think the two front runners of one that won the Kentucky Derby, the jockey, was from Puerto Rico, and I think his brother might have came in second. And all of these things were happening, and then just before we, about a week or two before we got here, there's a song came out on YouTube where I saw it, and the title was "First Time in Puerto Rico." And I thought it was a very catchy song. It talks about how the guy's looking around and went to Puerto Rico and he didn't want to. And when he landed, when the plane landed, the whole plane clapped when they landed. And that there's a Barack Obama statue in town in San Juan. And what else about that? Yes. And he said he took a bus to Caguas. Well, when they talked about Caguas in the song, I know where that's located because I played the games about Puerto Rico that we created, and I learned the names and locations of all 78 municipalities. And I'll tell you why that's important. When we visited at different restaurants and different places, and we stopped at this one little cafe, and it was just Mark and Matt and I, and some guy came in, and I said to Mark, I said, "Where do you think that guy's from?" And I thought he was a tourist. And I said to Mark, he's probably a surfer boy, beach boy from California. And we finished our meal. And as we're walking out, I said to this guy, I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "I just moved to Rio Grande." Now, that's another thing. I didn't have to say, "Where is Rio Grande?" because I know it's one of the 78 municipalities that I learned before I got here. And he said he moved here from Culebra. I didn't have to say, "Where is Culebra from? Is that in Europe or Africa or whatever?" Because I know that Culebra is an island just a little bit northeast of the main island of Puerto Rico. So we had a conversation with this guy, and it turns out he's not a surfer boy from California, but he's about 25. Alejandro. And he has a company. At 25 years old, he has his own company teaching people to surf. And also teaches them to do, I think they do maybe canoeing, or I think he's got some yachts he takes people out on. But just by simple question, "Where are you from?" And that's a fundamental question that we ask people when we meet them. We don't say, "Where are you from?" We don't say, "Where are you from?" We don't say anything like that. We don't act like an idiot. We say, "Where are you from?" And I got so many stories to tell you about where that simple question leads. And the big thing is, once you know the names and locations of the 50 states, 175 countries of the world, and I don't want you to think this is trivia. I'll tell you about my terrible, terrible interaction with a Geography Alliance coordinator a few years ago. Terrible interaction. Because I believe that geography is important. And I think if you're going to be a Geography Alliance coordinator, I hope you also believe that geography is important. And hope that perhaps I ran into the only Geography Alliance coordinator that doesn't care about where things are, but I did run into that person. That'll be a later conversation. But today I want to talk about Puerto Rico. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in and show you how I learned the names and locations of the 78 municipalities. And before we start, I'm going to tell you, it took me, I would say 6 weeks. First of all, I'm old. Secondly, I don't speak Spanish. And thirdly, I want to pronounce the municipalities correctly. So I went and found a list of phonetic pronunciations, and let's see if there's any comments. Okay, Rob, someone from Poland may have said hello. I'm going to hello, RAFA, and I'm going to send that. Now, you might be hearing a jet go by, or maybe it's a rainstorm. It seems to rain every day here. No, I think that was some kind of machine that all it does is drives up and down the road making noise, loud noise. Anyway, that's outside. But so I'm just learning how this works. And 6:48 a.m. How could someone say hello at 6:48 a.m.? Okay, that might be from a previous live stream that maybe Matt did when he started this morning. Or maybe it's 6:48 in wherever he's from. I don't know. You see, I'm just learning. I am so old. But our programmer is 25 years younger than me. Our two, our video editor, and he handles all of our what do you call social network stuff. That's Matt. And Mark is a professor. He's a tutor. He knows how to teach, and he's really, we consider him our guide or our leader as we get into this, because he doesn't waste any time. He challenges us to do better, and I'll tell you about some of the things that Matt and Mark did while they were here, as far as learning the names and locations of the municipalities. No, I'll tell you right off. Mark spent about 2 days, maybe a couple of hours each day, playing the click and learn games about Puerto Rico. And we have 3 levels. Play it in alphabetical, you learn in alphabetical order, 7 at a time. And then you do it in random order. And then you do it in test mode. And after 2 days, about 2 hours a day, Mark scored 100% in test mode. Matt didn't spend near as much time because he's doing so many things to help us with videos and all. But he did find 2.5 hours. One day, I think about 2 hours one day, and then a half an hour yesterday. And he only worked on the first 28, working his way through the system, how it works. We just got a comment from someone from internal monologue. I guess if you're watching this, you can see the comments. I don't have to tell you they're there, but they are there. I'm going to say hello. Monologue. O-G-U-E. And you got to be patient with me. First of all, I'm a darn slow typer. I'm a darn slow thinker. I'm a darn slow everything, but I'm just learning. Here's my point. Here is my point. It took me probably, honestly, 6 weeks, maybe an hour a day to learn the names and locations of and I'm going to show you in a little while that I can do this. It took me about 6 weeks to do that. It only took Mark 2 days, maybe 6 hours total to score 100% on that. It took Matt about 2.5 hours to go through the first 28. And he scored 100% on the first 28. But let's get right into it. I'm going to go to this location, and let's see if I can figure out how to do this. So I'm going to go to our website. I'm going to go to clickandlearn.fun. We're going to change our approach. In the future, I'm not going to tell you how I get into this. In the future, we'll just say you're smart enough, you can figure out how to get into this without me leading you through every step. So I'm going to collapse this channel and collapse this channel. And this is what you start at when you go to clickandlearn.fun. And a lot of these games are free, but I'll tell you, the free games, the important free games that we give, when I click, let me do this first of all. When I click this icon, says free geography games. When I click there, let's see what it's going to do. It's going to give me, okay, these are games. Each of these is a game. I'm going to scroll to the right, and you can see we have games free. You can learn the names and locations of the island countries of India, Australia, and the South Pacific, the Caribbean. You can learn the 31 states of Mexico, and so forth. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail here because we're really going to get into Puerto Rico in a minute. But I'm going to collapse this and show you how I got that in there again. I simply clicked that icon that says free geography games. You can learn the names and locations of all the countries of South America in 24 minutes. Let me stress that. With our system, you can learn the names and locations of all the countries of South America in 24 minutes. You can learn well enough that you can score 100% on a blank map of South America, and you can recite the 14 countries of South America in 14 seconds. And it only took 24 minutes, seriously. I'm going to talk about our educational system. I'm going to talk about how terribly, terribly wrong we teach geography in the United States. I have visited with people from around the world. I visited with a guy from the Philippines. He knew more about the 50 states than more darn Americans do because they don't teach it right. And sometimes it seems like they don't even care. And I'm going to tell you why it's important to care, why it is important to care. I'm going to tell you that probably 100 times in the next 50 videos. But so you can learn the names and locations of the countries of South America, 24 minutes. You can learn the names and locations of when I'm talking about 24 minutes, I got two students in Los Angeles, John and George. I went to they were interested in geography, and I drove from Phoenix, Arizona, over to Los Angeles. We spent 2 hours conversing, visiting, chatting, and then I showed them how our system works. They each had their own laptops, and I gave them a pretest of South America. One is 14, one is 12. And their scores on the pretest of South America was essentially zero. Sorry, guys. But they sat down. I showed them how the system worked, and they sat down and played the game for South America. And 5 minutes. I said, you can take 24 minutes, guys. They said, no, 5 minutes playing a game. And they knew all the countries of South America. And we advertise that you as a student can learn the names and locations of all 50 states in 3 hours. That's what we advertise. Well, because I'm old and because my memory is terrible, I forgot that we filmed a group of kids from Knoxville. They were from grades 4 to 12. And we showed them how the software worked. They spent 30 minutes with games for the 50 states. Spam. They spent 30 minutes with the 50 states. We took a break, 10-minute break, go get water. They spent 30 more minutes with the 50 states. We took a break to eat pizza for an hour. And then they spent 30 more minutes for a total of 90 minutes. And I had forgotten, but those guys, those kids, and I'm going to tell you, not all of them did it, but all of them except the two oldest boys did it in 90 minutes, an hour and a half, and they learned the names and locations of all the 50 states so well that they could recite the 50 states in a minute, in 50 seconds. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, and so forth. So 90 minutes if you are an American and if you have heard of the names of words like Connecticut and Massachusetts, Minnesota, Montana. If you've heard of those names all your life and you don't need to know how to spell Massachusetts or Connecticut, but when you play the game, oh yeah, this is Connecticut up here. This is Massachusetts. This is Wyoming, Montana. You can do it. And that's the other thing. Okay, and I'm going to show you something. I figured out how to do this. Here's a quote, or here's a note from, he says, I agree. Most people I know cannot point to any country besides the US and Canada on a map, coming from other Americans. That's exactly right. And they do not even understand how disrespectful that is to people from around the world. Thank you, monologue, for that. And I'm going to get into how important that is. But right now I want to tell you about Puerto Rico. So the guys, we all got to Puerto Rico. We are leaving tomorrow. We've been here about 6 or 7 glorious days. They dragged me to the beach, pushed me into the water in this inner tube, which is a flamingo inner tube, bounced me around out there, and then they pushed me back to shore. They dragged me into the jungle. We have seen trees here in Puerto Rico where bananas grow. Beautiful, all kinds of trees here. And I'm going to, first of all, I really want to get in and show you what we did to learn the, how do I do this? Okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. I'm going to get into show you where the games are. First of all, I showed you that you go to clickandlearn.fun. You click this icon that says free geography games. And all of these are free. You can learn the countries of Africa in 6 hours, 1 hour an evening. You can learn the countries of Europe in about the same amount of time, 50 countries. I'll get into all that later. I want to get right into Puerto Rico. I'm going to collapse that. And I'm going to show you, free this week. We got a guy who followed us on our live stream. He was the first person to follow us, and we were so excited because, here we are and someone's already watching. And it turns out that he knows 2,000 counties of the United States. He knows all the counties of California, Oregon, Washington, so many states. I was so impressed. But he said he'd like to learn the counties of Texas, 254 counties. I have learned them. It took me 18 days, about an hour a day, playing a game. And as I went to sleep, I would recite what I had learned that day, recite as I'm going to sleep. The next day, I'd learn a little bit farther. Let's say the county started with the letter C, and then D, E, F the next day. So 16 days. And then it took me, and I took a break for a few months, and then it took another 10 days to learn the names and locations of the county. But this guy, Fortnite, he said he wants to learn the counties of Texas. I was so excited that I put this set of games in our free this week. He has access to these for 2 weeks. And when you click this is a folder. And when you click that folder, all of these are games. This is a game that'll help you learn the counties that start with the letters A and B, C, and so forth. And then at the end, this is honestly Well, I don't see it there. I was going to tell you my favorite game is where in test mode, but I'll show you that later. But he was so interested that we put this game in for free for 2 weeks. And because Mark and Matt, our team members, Click and Learn team members, wanted to learn the municipalities of Puerto Rico before we got here, we put these free also. Oh, here's the game. Here's the game. Here's one of my favorite games. This game is also free. You click single player. We're in test mode, and you play through this game, and it asks for one of the counties. You click it. It goes to the next county. You click it. You race through that. Quite often in the middle of the night, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I open this game and play it. Lately, I've been opening the game about Puerto Rico. I'll show you the game I open and play. I'm going to go to test mode. I'm going to click single player. And I'm going to turn off the sound because I want to talk. And I'm going to click go. It asks for San Sebastian. My hardest part of this whole process was learning how to pronounce San Sebastian. This is San Sebastian. The question changes to Seba. Seba. One of these 78 buttons is Seba. And this is Seba. When I get it correct, I get a green light. Notice the green light. It asks for Las Piedras. I get a green light. If I were to get it incorrect, it asks for Carolina. I'm going to click on Canovanas by mistake. I want you to see what happens. I got a red light. It asks for Barceloneta. I got a green light. It asks for Naguabo, and I click Naranjito instead. I get a red light. So, and also it shows up at the top left corner. I have clicked on 6 of the 78 so far. And as you can tell, I've already got 2 wrong. Now, I'm doing this for my teacher. I'm doing it for myself. I want to show my teacher I can score 100%. So now that I've already got 2 of them wrong, I'm going to exit. Over here is the emergency exit button. At the end of this game, you get a button that says you can exit. But if your class ends, you run out of time, you have to do something else, you don't have to wait for that. You can hit the emergency exit up here. I'm going to click that button because I want to get 100%. So I'm going to get back into that same game. I'm going to switch to test mode. I'm going to click single player. And I'm going to show you something else. It asks for Uncos. If I don't get it right, if I'm not on the button, if I'm slightly outside and I click, I get it wrong. But you got to be right on the button when you're clicking, guys. So I'm going to try and get 100%. And the only way I'm not going to get 100% is if I misread or I misclick, or I'll think of some excuse why I got it wrong. Besides being old. Uncos, I got a green light. Catano. Ponce. This is where the guys are going. Okay, I tell you what we're doing here, guys. We are in San Juan Municipality. That's the name of the municipality. It's also the name of the biggest city in that municipality. But the guys are going down to Ponce. They're also going to be going through Santa Isabel. And looking at the map here, I can tell you they're probably going to be going through maybe Caguas. Maybe they go through Aguas Buenas. Maybe they go through Sidra. This is Calle. And this would be Guanabo. No, Guanabo. Gorado. Yes, Gonado. And they might go through Salinas, but I know they're going over here to Ponce. Apparently, someplace in this area is an area with 7 waterfalls back in the woods that they want to take some pictures of and explore. They are both active, energetic, and that's one reason I stayed here. I'm not going to climb through the rocks to get to a waterfall. They'd be calling data anyway. So, okay, get back to the topic at hand. It asks for Ponce. This is where the guys are going. Ponce. It asks for Toa Baja. This is Toa Alta, Toa Baja. Get it correct. Ayuya. Ayuya. I think we went through there yesterday. Where did we go yesterday? We went to Utuada, a place called the White Canyon. And I could tell you all about that, but it's a fantastic. It asks for La Res. La Res. La. Okay, La. Okay, I almost clicked Lajas. This is La Res. Red. Naguabo. Naguabo. I got a green light. Lajas. That's what I almost mixed. And Yasco. And Yasco. Let's just fly through this. Trujillo Alto. Trujillo Alto, green light. Sabana Grande. Sabana Grande. Bayamon. Bayamon. Pinuelas. Pinuelas. Isabella. Isabella. Whisper. I whisper as I click because I'm learning how to pronounce. I'm going to go back and see if we've got any more comments or anybody else is here. Okay. We still got one guy watching this. Maybe, I don't know if it's a guy, someone that is still watching. So that's cool. Guys, I'm new to this, and I'm not a good entertainer, and I'm not a good teacher, but I am a good preacher, and I'm going to preach about the importance of geography. I'm going to preach about the importance of geography knowledge. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm still in the game in test mode. That's for San Juan Municipality, San Juan. Santa Isabella Municipality, green light. Vega Baja. This is Vega Alta. This is Vega Baja. Manatee, right next to that. Caguas. Caguas is in the song about the guy. Oh, you got to tell you something else. So in this song about Puerto Rico, a new song that just came out a few weeks ago, the guy in this song is talking about coming here, flying in, and he says in his song, the whole plane clapped when we landed. The whole plane clapped when we landed. I don't know what's going on outside. Someone's banging on the fence. But so when we landed, I was next to a guy who lives here. A very interesting guy. He told me about a lot of things. He even tested me on some things. But so I paid attention, and as we landed, I listened, and the passengers started clapping. I thought that was so cool. Dorado, this is Dorado, green light. Vieques, learn how to pronounce that. Juana Diaz. I think the guys are going to be going through Juana Diaz. Corozal, Mayaguez. Here's one thing. Notice that this one is not colored in with a button because this is a uninhabited island. It's like an ecological preserve for Puerto Rico, from what I understand. And it is controlled or ruled by, it is considered to be part of the administration of Mayaguez. That's Mayaguez. San German, Calle, Luquillo. Luquillo is where the best family beach in Puerto Rico is located. We've been to that twice. We went to there on, let's say, a Thursday. There may be 500 people there along this long beach. And the guys got out and they bounced around the water, and they could walk out a long ways and had a great time. I'm just sitting back in a little tiny lawn chair watching and enjoying being out here and thinking about how wonderful it is to be here And everybody's been really nice to us. I'll tell you about my cab driver eventually. I'll tell you about what would have happened if I had not had that cab driver the first day. But my point is here. So then we went out Sunday with our programmer. All four of us that are here went out. That's when the guys pushed me out into the water in this silly looking inner tube, looked like a flamingo. But on Sunday, there must have been all along the beach, maybe 2,000 people. Beautiful, beautiful. They had their what do you call it, umbrellas and their lawn chairs and their blankets. They go into the water and come back out, get into the water and come back out. Anyway, turns out that is the most popular family beach in Puerto Rico. Luquillo is the name of the municipality. Barranquitas would be here. Got a green light. Quebradillas. Can you imagine one of the reasons it took me so long to learn these is how do you pronounce this word? Up here at the top, Quebradillas. Okay, there we go. Gayama. Oh man. I got this guy banging on the wall outside. Gayama. Fajardo. Fajardo is out in the farthest northeast. Carolina. Las Marias. Green light. Luisa. Guayania. Okay. Comarillo. I think I've got green lights on all of these so far. This is Comarillo. I've answered 36 of 78. Cialis. I'm gonna speed up here. I don't want to bore you guys. Actually, if you're from Puerto Rico and you're watching this and you see the question, you can say to yourself, is this guy who knows nothing, is this guy really going to be able to click on the right place? Okay, I got to check the chat. I just got okay. Flying Scotsman production. Okay. Right now, the guys, Matt and Mark, are beside the ocean now. They've got to the ocean. They haven't told me what municipality they're in. I'm assuming, and Flying Scotsman Productions says beautiful place. So we must know that they're where they are next to the ocean. But they're next to the ocean. I'm assuming they are. That they are in, let's say, Ponce, or they did talk about Santa Isabel. Okay, on with the game. Cialis. So if you're from Puerto Rico and you're watching this and you know where these are, you're sitting there wondering, is this old man going to click the right button or not? And I hope that you are anticipating that I click here because that's where I'm going to click. I got a green light. Aguas Buenas. I got a green light. I'm going to get green lights on all of these. I'm just going to tell you. Guaynabo. Guaynabo. That's Gurabo. I just clicked Gurabo. This is Guaynabo. I tell you what. You see, I'm serious. I'm serious about this. Guanica. Okay, I'm going to get green lights for all the rest of them. Sidra. Now I just need to focus. Adjuntas. That's the first one alphabetically. Coamo. Now I'm going to go through this because I'm going to come through it again, and I'm going to do it again. Naranito. And when I do it again, I'm going to get 100%. This is Naranito. Toa Alta. Arroyo. Vega Alta. Aguada. Over by Rincon and Aguadilla. Cabo Rojo. Camui. And I got it wrong. Camui is up here. Okay. This is Calle. Yauco. And I got another text that might be from the guys. Oh. And they sent me a picture of where they're at. And I think they sent me the picture to show me how rocky it is and that I should be happy I'm not out there climbing on the rocks.
Las Piedras. Las Piedras, Greenland. Culebra, that's the island. Culebra, Florida. I lived on a street in Joplin, Missouri, Florida Street. 1606 North Florida is where we lived, in Joplin. So you can actually find out the house that I lived in when I was in the 4th grade. Mocha. Mocha would be Mocha, green light. Morobis. Morobis. Humacao. Humacao. Rincon. Rincon. Oramagueros. Oramagueros. Patias. If I don't pronounce these right, at least I'm trying, guys. Patias. Green light. Gurabo. That's the one I clicked on wrong. This is Guanica. No, Guanica. Guanabo. Gurabo. Green light. Utuwada. That's where we were yesterday. There's a place out there called the White Canyon. White Canyon or something. Barceloneta. Okay, Barceloneta. Green light. San Lorenzo. Viaba. Rio Grande. Salinas. San Sebastian. Monabo, down here in the bottom right. Otil, that would be this one, green light. Canovanas, Maracao, green light. Ibanito, this is Aguas Buenos, this is Ibanito. Aguadilla. I answered 74 so far. I think I've got 3 or 4 wrong. Orocovis, green light. Seba, Arecibo, this one, 77. The last one, Yabucoa. And I got 97%. You can see I got 2 wrong. And so I got 97%. Also, when you get 100%, if I had to get 100%, would have had a button here. I'll show you that the next time. I'll show you that in a minute. When you get 100%, we give you the ability to download a certificate that says Bob Reynolds scored 100% on the test mode of municipalities of Puerto Rico on July 1st, 2026. I'll show you that because I'm going to get 100% this next time. But I'm going to exit. I could have exited with a go button where it says go. No, that would have been a replay. Exit, get back into the game. This time I'm going to focus. I'm not going to go down all these side tracks. Click test mode, click single player. If you are from Puerto Rico, watch and see if I get these right. And no, even more than that, anticipate where I should click. And if you don't know the names and locations of all your own 70 municipalities, let me know. Send me an email or something, and I can make these games free for you for another 2 weeks. Because when you can do that and you can show your classmates and your classmates can show your teachers, the teachers may decide geography is easy. I'm going to teach geography. I'm going to be the best geography teacher. And my students are going to learn all the names and the locations of the 78 municipalities. And I, being a great teacher, whatever the teacher's name is, and I'm going to teach my students the names and locations of the countries of South America because it doesn't take a semester. It doesn't take a school year to learn the 50 states. It takes 3 hours. It takes an hour and a half. Oh, let's get back to one story I was telling you about the kids in this group where they took 90 minutes. They all played in. We gave them stopwatches to practice and time each other. And they played the games. And there were about maybe 15 of them. And I'm going to tell you, all 15 of them did not master the game because the two older boys, these are 12 high school, these are kids, two boys in high school. They thought this is not important. And so they just played games. They didn't take the project seriously. But the other kids from grades 4 through 11 all could recite the 50 states in 50 seconds. We have it on video. Okay, but here we go back into the game again. Back into the game. I got another picture from the guys. They're on the ocean, South Puerto Rico. They have not told me which municipality they're on. I'm going to ask them. I could text them. I'm going to say, which municipality are you on? Question mark. Okay. Hold on a minute. Okay. If they see that and reply, I'll tell you where they're at. But right now I'm going to get 100% because I want to show you what happens when you get 100%. When you get 100%, okay, here's the Flying Scotsman said, I was in New Jersey 2 weeks ago with Matt. Oh, okay. This might be one of Matt's friends. We drove all over the Jersey Peninsula. All over the Jersey, Pennsylvania area. Some of our sets were so expansive, we needed Matt's car and my truck to support everything. It was a blast. I tell you what, when you get back with Matt, he's going to have some stories about what we're doing here. Okay, I'm going to tell you what little I know about the Flying Scotsman. He or she is into Thomas the Tank Engine series. I'm so old, I don't know anything about that, but I've seen some of Matt's videos. And that's what he's doing right now. Anyway, I'll tell you all about Matt and what he's doing, okay? And so he said, well, we did a huge 3-day shoot in Pennsylvania, okay? And he says, I can't wait to hear all about your trip. You know Matt. He's making videos. He's got his Thomas stuff. Thomas stuff with him, tracks. He puts the trains up there. The little guys make stories about. And he makes really cool stories that tell him more, give him more. There's a moral to his stories. And very, very interesting stuff. I guess I should have gone to this for a minute while I'm all that excitement about talking about Matt. But Matt says they're on the coast now. They think they're in Guanica. And Mark accidentally put an island in the GPS. I have no know what he's talking about. And he said it might have been Culebra. No, you are not on Culebra. Well, they could have been. Here's the other thing. Just because there are 70, because there's a municipality called Culebra, they could have been in a city called Culebra, even though they're not in that municipality. Because there's a ring. Well, I tell you what, I get off track. Let me get back into what we're doing here. Okay, so I haven't answered any yet. I'm going to get 100% on this one. Okay, he says they're in Guanica. Okay, Guanica is right over. Mine, they've gone a long ways. They are clear over here. They might get to Cabo Rojo. I'm just bragging because I know where all these are, and I've never been here before except this week. But the reason I can do this is completely because of click and learn games. And you, if you're from Puerto Rico, you can do it in just a few hours. If you speak Spanish and you've never been here, you can probably do it in 6 hours. If you don't speak Spanish and you're old like me, it'll take you forever. But let's get through this. It asks for Añasco. Añasco, green light. Lajas, green light. Toa Alta. I'm going to focus and concentrate. I'm going to be concentrating here. Another spam call. I get spam calls all day. Okay, Toa Alta. Marking matter showing me how to block them. Okay, Toa Alta, green light. Guayama, green light. Patias, green light. I'm going to focus and concentrate. Bayamon, 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 green light. Villalba, some are easy. Mayagüez, some are easy. Las Piedras, some I have to concentrate. Coamo, easy. Catano, small one up there by itself. San Sebastian, Vieques, I've heard some beautiful stories about these places. Barceloneta, Barranquitas, Vega Baja, green light. Gurabo. Okay, now I have to think. Guanabo, Gurabo, I hope this is green. Green, got it. San German, a green light. Las Marias, Hayuya, and I know I'm going to get green lights on most of these. La Reyes, Camui. Okay, almost got it wrong again. Camui, almost hit Calle. Comarillo. This is Coamo, Comarillo. Toa Baja. This is Toa Alta. This is Toa Baja. Juana Diaz. Ormagueros. Aguadilla. Green light. Yabucoa. Naguabo. 2 municipalities start with N. Naguabo. Isabela. Isabela is where Alejandro, we think, has part of his company. He gives yacht cruises and things. He's only like 25 years old. Carolina, green light. Manuabo, green light. Naranjito. Uncos. Trujillo, Alto. Corozal. San Lorenzo. Sidra. This is Barranquitas. This is Sidra. Correct. Fajardo. Farthest east. Arecibo. Ceiba. Conovanas. Culebra is, there's some called, I think it's where the bioluminescence, one of the bays is located, which is interesting. Mocha. Otio, Guayanilla. Let's do this right. Guayanilla. Orocovis. Manatee. Cabo Rojo. Rio Grande, that is where Alejandro just moved to. It's where we met him in a little cafe in Rio Grande. Adjuntas, first one alphabetically. Adjuntas. Utuada, where we were yesterday. Ciales. Quebradillas. Maracao, Arroyo, Salinas, Aguas Buenas, Morobis, Almost to the wrong one. Morovis, Sabana Grande, Peñuelas, right next to Ponce, Guanica, that's where the guys are right now. Guanica, Luisa, Caguas. Caguas is in that song, Caguas. Luquillo, the beautiful beach. Yauco, Omacao, Florida, Ay Bonito, Calle, Vega Alta. This is Manatee, Vega Baja, Vega Alta, Santa Isabel, Aguado, over by Rincon, Dorado, Rincon. I just mentioned that. I've answered 75 so far. I think they're all green lights. And as for San Juan, I have answered now 76 with the green light. Ponce with the green light. And if I get this next one correct, that should be 100%. I missed this one earlier. I hope I got this as Guaynabo. This is Guanica, Guayama, Guaynu, Guanabo, and this is Gorabo. Let's see if okay, got 100%. And now watch what happens. You get 100%. You can see they're all green, but also give you this little button. When I click this little button, it's going to upload a certificate. And let's take a look at the certificate, and I'll show you what it is. It shows that you're playing a game of Click and Learn. This is my avatar. That's my password. I have a user ID and a password. And if you're a registered user, you create your own avatar. They're all unique. And what it says is Bob has correctly answered 78 of 78 questions, learning all municipalities. It should say, we need to change the title of the game so it says all municipalities of Puerto Rico. Today, July 1st. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to close that window. I hope that window popped up. How would I know? Let's go to StreamYard. Okay. Now, if I'm in there, I don't think you saw this certificate. I'm just learning. Okay, now Matt says, no, he says it might have been Culebra. I know it's not Culebra. They are not in the municipality of Culebra. I think he's just razzing me. I'm going to remove that from the screen. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to tell you something exciting about what we did yesterday. We took this winding. We didn't road to a place called White Canyon. And I'm sitting in the back seat, petrified, because it looked like the road was a two-way road, but it looked like there's room enough for 1.5 vehicles. Thankfully, Mark was driving, and we came out alive. But there was a semi on that road. The turns are so tight, the semi had to take the full lane all the way to the other side quite often when he's going around these curves, because there's curves are tight. And as the truck driver got to tight curve, he apparently knew where he was, because he knew he'd get on his horn and beep, blare his horn to let the oncoming cars know there's a semi coming, stop, because he's got to get through and he can't back up. And so it was interesting following that semi. I felt safe because on the tight turns, the semi would scare off the cars coming down and we were safer. Okay. So here we're going to go back into, I'm going to get back into I'll show you another cool thing about that game. I'm going to get into it again. I'm going to exit and come back in. Get into this game. And as you know, if you're a teacher or if you're a student, you know that your teacher covers 1,000 things in a semester, but they don't test you on 1,000 things. They might test you on 25 random questions. And if you get 100% on random questions, there's a good chance you know all of the information. So my programmer, built a new feature into this system. I'm going to show you. I'll click the go button. Monabo. Okay. After I answer, okay, notice there's nothing up here in this corner. And there's not going to be anything up in that corner until I answer 20 questions. And when that happens, then I can print it and see my score. Gurabo. Okay. Guayama, Guanica, Gurabo. This is Gurabo, green light. Ormagueros, green light. Vega Alta. Orocovis. Lajas. Calle. Quebradillas. Coamo. I'm going to get 20 of these correct. Dorado. Corozal. Coamo, Comarillo, Corozal. Salinas. Caguas. Mayagüez. Sabana Grande. Trujillo Alto. This guy. Canovanas. Yabucoa. Catano. Aguadilla. Okay, before I click the next one, I've answered 19. Watch what happens when I click the 20th button, Aguadilla. Watch up in this corner, because when I click this up in that corner, Aguadilla, this button appears. This just simply means you have answered 20 or more, and you can click this button to see your score, and you can print the certificate, or you can just call your teacher over to your desk and say, look what I did. I scored 100%. And with that, if you score 100%, you get a certificate. You do not get a certificate unless you score 100%. The goal of this system is not for you to get a high B, a B++. The goal of our system is to get 100%. Everybody, I don't care if you are a genius or a savant, you can get 100%, and you know you will, first of all. But I don't care if you are like, I was in college. I got one of the lowest GPAs in college because I was competing against a lot of people. My point is, it doesn't matter if you're a genius or just a regular guy like me, or even if you're an old guy like me. With this system, you can get 100%. Now, it might take someone like Mark only 2.5 hours to get 100% on all 78 municipalities. But I got 100%. It just took me longer. And we don't embarrass anybody. You can play this, what they call, in the privacy of your own home, where nobody's watching. You click the wrong button 1,000 times, because I clicked the wrong buttons 1,000 times learning these. But nobody knew. Nobody saw me clicking all these wrong buttons. Well, I did make a video showing that I did that. Okay, what I just did, I played a test in 20 questions. If I were to click this, it uploads. I'm going to show you that. It shows that Bob answered correctly 20 of 78 questions learning in all the municipalities. At least I scored 100%. Correctly answered. Okay. I'm going to exit from that. You probably can't see that. How do I get that to appear in StreamYard? How do I get that to happen? Do I share something else? Present or invite. I'm going to remove this from the stage. I'm going to present or invite. I'm going to stop the screen. I'm going to stop the screen. Now I'm going to share the screen, but this time it's going to be a different screen. Here we go. I'm going to share that. Okay, so now you can see this. This is what I tried to tell you about earlier. I'm just learning, guys. Have patience with me. I'm so thankful I have Mark and Matt in my program and Mike because they all have patience with me. I appreciate it. But anyway, so this is a certificate that you can get. I'm going to close that. And now what do? I have to share this different screen. Okay. Click that. I'm going to exit from that. Or I could use the emergency exit, either one. I'm going to exit from that. And now I'm going to get into the real basics of these games. And I'll tell you something else. It only takes, I'll look at this. Okay, first of all, let me see if I can do this right. Let's see what I'm even showing you. I wasn't even showing that right. But I'm going to go over to here. First of all, we got this book, and it says, Where is Puerto Rico? And this book is by the Penguin Workshop, the Who Is, Who Was series. I personally have about 300 of these books. They cover all kinds of interesting topics. But this new series just came out, and the first one was about one of the ones was about Puerto Rico. I thought the time is perfect. What I'm going to try and tell you, is that I read through this book. We have permission from WHO HQ, that stands for WHO headquarters, who is headquarters, WHOHQ.com. We have permission from them to use their cover art as long as we recognize their author, the illustrator, and the person that does the cover art for this. But so what I did, and we can make a game with that. I read through that, and I wrote down all these questions that I thought were interesting. I probably got about 70 questions. And then I went through those 70 questions and I said, what are the 21 things that I, as a teacher, would want to teach my students? Or what are the 21 things that I, as a student, here's the other thing, you can create your own games. With our system, you can create your own games. It is so cool. So we created a game, and I'm going to show you the game that we created. I'm going to go to this again. And I'm going to get into play that game that I created and that you as a student can take if you got a test coming up on chemistry, you can create a game about the 35 elements your teachers want you to learn. And you can score 98% if you spell I don't know, some of those elements correct, wrong. But anyway, that's beside the point. So here's my point. I took that book, just like a book report. I wrote down the questions, and I created a game of 21 questions about that game. And here is, click single player, and here's what we're allowed to do. Question at the top says, this game is about, and one of these first 7 is the answer. Here's the artwork we're allowed to use, and here it says, here's a quote from Rita Moreno. She is from Puerto Rico, a famous actress or dancer, whatever, dance. Her quote is, I was dancing for my grandpa from the time I was 4 or 5 years old in Puerto Rico. Okay. Okay. And now Matt is telling me that they are in something called a dry forest. And he's going to send me a picture of cacti in the dry forest. Let's get back to the game. So the thing is, questions and answers are partially derived from where is Puerto Rico. The author is Tracy Vonderbrink, is the author. Ted Hammond is the illustrator. Bob Kaganich did the cover art. We credit, and if you're doing a book report on something, okay, I just got this picture of cacti in the desert, dry desert. And I'm going to show you. They just showed me this, so I'm going to show it to you guys. How do I do this? I go to here, and I show you this is a picture of cacti in the dry desert. These guys they don't know what a desert is. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, so then I created this game because I want to learn. And this is the United States quarter for Puerto Rico. And there's a fort. What does it say? I don't even know what this says. Isle of Enchantment is what it says. That's what Puerto Rico is, the Isle of Enchantment. Okay, so let's get into the questions. I have 10 seconds to answer the first 10 questions. We're playing a game and we're learning. I created this game because I want to learn. This game is about Puerto Rico. I got a green light. Puerto Rico is the land of enchantment. Now, I got that wrong. No, I got the answer correct. But when I created the question, it should have said, where's the Isle of Enchantment? I will fix that so the next time I get in, me or my classmates or my teacher or my students are going to see the question is correct because you can create your own games. Puerto Rico is Spanish for rich port. A famous tree frog. Is it the mangroves? I know I'm going to get this wrong. I just want to show you what happens when I get it wrong. It says, sorry you've clicked on the question is a common tree on the Puerto Rico coast is the mangroves. Okay. Famous tree frog is a coqui. And we think we heard those. It's making some noise in the jungle a couple days ago. Okay. Puerto Rico is located in this sea, the Caribbean Sea. Has over 300 miles of coastline, and the common tree on the coast is mangrove. Mangroves were important to the defense or protection when some country tried to invade them years ago, which is in the book, mangroves. I was 66 seconds over. I'm going to replay. Click go. This game is about Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is the Isle of Enchantment. Puerto Rico is Spanish for rich port. A famous tree frog is a coqui. Puerto Rico's lake located in the Caribbean. Has over 300 miles of coastline. A common tree is a mangrove. Okay, I'm still over the time limit. The first time I was 60 seconds over because I was blabbering. I didn't blabber as much that time, so I was only 11 seconds over. In order to beat the clock, I have to focus. I have to say this game is about Puerto Rico. Come on. About Puerto Rico. And Isle of Enchantment. Rich port. Tree frog is coqui. And there's a Caribbean Sea. Coral coastline. And mangrove. 2 seconds over. Play again. Click go. This game is about Puerto Rico. Stands for Isle of Enchantment. Come on, I clicked wrong. Isle of Enchantment. Richport. Caribbean Sea. What's the question? Tiny free frog. Coquille. Caribbean Sea. Coastline mangroves. Okay, 14. Okay, I beat the clock. Even though I stumbled, I beat the clock. But I tell you what, I'm going to replay. Before I go on to 14 questions, I'm going to beat the clock better than that. So when I do a replay, it only shows that the questions in that amount. So it's about Puerto Rico, Isle of Enchantment, stands for rich port, tiny tree flies coquille, Caribbean Sea, 300 miles of coastline, mangroves, 1 second over. Okay, it's about Puerto Rico, Isle of Enchantment, rich port, coquille. It's in the Caribbean, 300 miles of coastline, mangrove trees. Okay, now we go to 14 questions. I went through that a couple of times to reinforce what I'm doing. Click the go button. Okay, now we have 14 questions. First of all, I fly through the first 7 about Puerto Rico, Isle of Enchantment, stand for rich coast, frog is a coquille, it's in the Caribbean Sea, 300 miles of coastline, mangrove is a tree. Now we get to 7 new questions. Capital is, alphabetically, it's easy to find the answer, San Juan. Banana type fruit is the plantain. Has 19 what? 19 nature preserves. No, yeah. State forests, yeah. 19 state forests, 36 nature preserves, 300 beaches. Famous beach on Culebra is Flamenco Beach. This might be where the bioluminescent animals are. And there's only one question left. That's Roberto Clemente. 30 seconds over. I'm going to fly through the first 7. About Puerto Rico, I'll have an enchantment, stand for rich forest. The coquille is that animal. It's in the Caribbean. 300 miles of coastline, mangrove trees. And now, capital is San Juan. A banana type fruit is plantain. 19 state forests, 36 nature preserves, 300 beaches. Famous beach is Flamenco and Roberto Clemente. 2 seconds over. I have to fly through it again. Puerto Rico, land of enchantment, rich forest, the coquille, Caribbean Sea, coastline, mangroves, San Juan, plantain, 19 state preserves, 36 nature preserves, 300 beaches, Flamenco Beach, and Roberto Clemente. We cleared that level. I could replay or I could go on. I'm going to go on. This is all. We have 21 questions. And this is enough for a book report to share with your teacher, to share with your students, to share with your classmates. There's enough questions for a book report that they're going to learn something about the book, whether it's a book by Mark Twain, whether it's a book by Michener, anything. You can recreate a book report. You can, okay, let's go through this, see if I can beat the clock. Well, actually, I know I will not beat the clock because I have 7 new questions. This game is about Puerto Rico, Isle of Enchantment. It stands for rich port. Coquille is that, what do you call it? It's in the Caribbean Sea. 300 miles of coastline. The mangroves are those trees out there. Capital is San Juan. A certain type of fruit is plantain. Has 19 state forests, 36 nature preserves, 300 beaches. A famous beach is Flamenco and Roberto Clemente. Now the new questions. He performed at the Super Bowl, Bad Bunny. This jockey won the Kentucky Derby. It's the home of this rainforest. Oh, man. El Yunque. It's like the jungle. I was there. He came to Puerto Rico in search of gold. That would be Ponce de Leon. Major hurricane, Hurricane Maria. Population of over 3 million people. And how do you learn more about Puerto Rico? Read the book. It's an easy book. It's only 100 pages. It's only 100 pages, a lot of pictures, Okay, let me go back to here so I can do this right. Puerto Rico has only 100 pages, has a lot of pictures. Well, let me go to here. Have patience with me, guys. I'm just learning how to do this stuff. Has pictures of different people, 100 pages, big font, interesting book. I have 300 of these books from this company. Some of the best, and many schools that I've been to have shelves of all these books because they know the value. Okay. And if you're watching, if you want to leave a comment, you can leave a comment and figure out how to, reply or answer your question. You have a question, you can put a question in the comments and I'll see it and answer. So let's get back into this game that I'm playing, and I'm going to, I was 23 seconds over. Okay, click go. I know the first 7 are, this is about Puerto Rico. It's a land of enchantment. It stands for rich port. The coquí is the animal. It's in the Caribbean Sea. 300 miles of coastline, the mangrove trees. Capital is San Juan. Banana tribe produces plantain. 19 state forests, 36 nature preserves, 300 beaches. The famous beach is Flamenco. Baseball players Roberto Clemente performed the Super Bowl. That was Bad Bunny. He won this Kentucky Derby. Has this El Yonke Forest. Search of Gold, Ponce de Leon. Major hurricane was Maria. They have over 300 million people. Read the book. 5 seconds over. Now, this is not easy. This is not easy. We make it hard. We make it a challenge. No, we make it a challenge. I'm 79 years old. I can do this. Okay. Puerto Rico, land of enchantment, rich port, coquí in the Caribbean Sea, mangroves, 300 miles of coastline, the mangrove trees. San Juan is the capital. Plantain is the fruit. 19 state forests, 36 nature reserves, 300 beaches. Famous ones are Flamenco. Roberto Clemente, as he performed Bad Bunny. He won the Kentucky Derby. This rainforest, El Yonke, Ponce de Leon, Maria's the hurricane, 300 million people. Read the book. 5 seconds over. Okay. I'm not talking to you guys right now. I got to beat the clock. Puerto Rico, enchantment, Bridgeport, coquí, Caribbean, coastline, mangroves, San Juan, plantain, state reserve, nature reserves, 300 beaches, famous beach, Roberto Clemente, be it Bad Bunny, Jose Ortiz, El Yonke, Ponce de Leon, Maria, come on, read the book. 3 seconds. Okay, I beat the clock. Sigh of relief, I beat the clock. So now I'm going to go to 20. Now we'll do it in random order. In random order, we'll give you more time. You have 2 seconds per question because you have to read the question. Okay, and then find the answer. He performed Bad Bunny, 300 beaches. Search of Gold, Ponce de Leon, home of this rainforest, El Yonke, land of enchantment, great about Roberto Clemente. Then this Caribbean Sea, Spanish for rich port, jockey won Jose Ortiz, 19 state forests, 300 miles of coastline, tiny free tribe, coquí, banana tribe fruit, plantain, famous beaches, Flamenco. His game is about Puerto Rico. I can learn more about read the book. How can I learn? 36 nature preserves, major hurricane Maria, mangrove trees, 300 million people, 3 million people, and San Juan's the capital. Okay? I did not beat the clock. This is challenging. In order to beat the clock, you have to focus, get rid of distractions, don't have your phone beeping at you, don't have the TV on. You have to focus. Maybe you have to get in a soundproof room. I don't know. Okay, let's go. See if I can beat the clock. Population, 300 million beaches, 300 beaches, 19 state forests, 300 miles of coastline. Puerto Rico is Port San Juan. Game is about Puerto Rico. Baseball player Clemente, reached for Spanish Rich Port. Banana type fruit plantain, Land of Enchantment. Kentucky Derby, Jose Ortiz. Read the book. Portland Rainforest, Yonko Key, located in the Caribbean. Major hurricane was Maria. Famous beach is Flamenco. Free frog is Coquille. You can see at the top left if I'm going to beat the clock or not. Ponce de Leon. Okay. Come on. Okay, 2 seconds over. That's because I mentioned that you can see, you can watch my clock. Okay, I'm gonna beat the clock this time. Up here, you can watch and see if I'm gonna beat the clock or not. And you can see there's so many buttons left, if I got a chance of beating it or I'm not gonna beat the clock. Okay, this is how you learn. This is how you learn. It doesn't take a semester to learn in 50 states. It takes 3 hours. Focus, get rid of distractions, turn off your phone, turn off your TV. Don't be jabbering to someone. Get in, play 3 hours, and you can know the names, locations of all 50 states. An hour an evening for 6 evenings. You can learn the country of Europe. Okay. I'm going to have my mouse ready. Here's the other thing. Let me show you another thing. Here's the other thing. When you play, if you use a real mouse instead of this touchpad, you can beat the clock better. You have a better chance of beating the clock if you use a real mouse. I tell that to so many people and still. If I'm a baseball coach and I'm doing the little league and this kid lays a bat on his shoulder and I tell him, no, hold it up like this. If he's laying it on his shoulder when the pitcher's pitching, and if he doesn't pay attention to me as a coach, I'm going to kick him off the darn team. You got to pay attention. You got to be doing it right or you're not going to win. Okay. So let's go back to here. So I am going to, so my point is you can watch up here and if I see if I'm doing it right. Okay, let's see if I can beat the clock. Capital San Juan, Caribbean Sea, baseball player Clemente, tiny tree frog Coquille, Major Maria, population 3 million. Common tree, mangrove. Came to search Ponce de Leon. Game is about Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has 36 nature reserves, 19 state forests, rainforest El Yonki, 300 beaches, 300 miles of coastline, famous beach. I can learn more, we'll read the book. Rich coast, rich port, land of enchantment. A banana plantain. Okay. He came, Bad Bunny, geez. Dang. 6 seconds over. Man. Okay. Jose Ortiz. Caribbean. Richport. Plantain. Mangrove. Ponce de Leon. Famous beach. Baseball player. Clemente, 300 beaches. Maria, performed Bad Bunny. Population of over. Rainforest El Yonki, land of enchantment. 300 miles of coastline. More about read the book. Puerto Rico's 19 state forests. Tiny tree frog coqui. 36 of these. Puerto Rico's San Juan. Puerto Rico, beat the clock. Was that easy? No. Was it a challenge? Yes. Did I do it? Yes. Can you do it? Of course. Of course you can do it. You can do it. Of course you can do it. Okay, now we get to the test mode. We do it alphabetically. Then we do it, and we do it in alphabetical order. You'll only have 1.5 seconds to do it. No. Alphabetically is for states or countries or counties. For a book, you do it in chronological order. Let's say a biography about someone's life. You put the questions in chronological order. Something about a book report. Maybe it's what are the most important things? Who is the author? Who is the most important character? That might be, I don't know, whoever the character is, Mark Twain, whatever those kids were. In the book report, you put most important first. Maybe the author, whatever you want to do, whatever your teacher tells you to do. And then in random order, you have 2 seconds. And then test mode. In test mode, you're not racing the clock. I'm going to get to 100% because I can think slowly. Famous beach on Culebra Island is Flamenco Beach. He came in search of gold, Ponce de Leon. He performed at the 2026 Super Bowl, Bad Bunny. Major hurricane in 2017 was Maria. Common tree is a mangrove. Puerto Rico is located in the Caribbean Sea. And you notice I get a green light on all of these so far. Jose Ortiz, green light. 300 miles of. So here's the other thing. You have to really look at the question. They have 300 beaches, but they have 300 miles of coastline. So sometimes when you look at the question, you're flying through it too fast. You click the wrong button. 300 miles of coastline. The El Yonki, it's also called a jungle. This game is about Puerto Rico. 19 state forests. 300 beaches. Banana tripe fruit is plantain. I'll tell you about plantain. Of course, it looked like bananas because that's what the question says. But they put plantain into a lot of their food. And they make food out of plantain, mash it up, put it with something, fry it. I had something called, to me, it looked like a chicken cordon bleu. Chicken breast wrapped with cheese and something else. And inside that was sweet plantains. That was so good. At this one restaurant, cafe. Plantain. Population of over 3 million people. Roberto Clemente was a famous baseball player. Tiny tree frog is coqui. Spanish for rich port. Port, rich port. How can I learn more? Read the book. Land of Enchantment. I'm going to change the question to Isle of Enchantment. I could show you how you do that, but I'd have to put in my secret password and you'd see, well, if you're a subscriber and if you want to make your own game, I can lead you through all of that. You could make a game just like this on any book. Teach your students well. Every good boy deserves favor. Isle of Enchantment. New Mexico is the land of enchantment. Puerto Rico is the Isle of Enchantment. 36 nature preserves. Capital is San Juan. I got 100%. And because I got 100%, that little certificate will pop up, and I could print that certificate and show that I got 100% on whatever this game is called on July 1st, 2026. Let's exit. What else do I want to show you? I want to show you how Mark and Matt both got into where they could learn. Mark got to where he could learn all 78 municipalities, score 100%. Took him 2 days, a couple hours a day. Matt got into this game, which I'm going to play for you. Started in the learn mode, click single player, click go. Matt got into this game, and it took him less than 2.5 hours. I think 2 hours one day, and then the next day he just got into test mode, scored 100%. And when these guys right now, they are down in this area. I'm going to ask them, what municipality are you in now? Okay. Where are you guys at now? Question mark. And if they have Wi-Fi reception, and if they see that in the answer, I'll tell you. But this is what Mark and Matt both played, 7 questions at a time to learn the first 78 in less than 2.5 hours. It probably took me 10 hours, honestly. Probably took me 10 hours to get through these first 28. But I can fly through this now. Adjuntas, Aguada, Aguadilla, Aguas Buenas, Abonito, Añasco, Arecibo. Go to 14 questions. Click go. Adjuntas, Aguada, Aguadilla, Aguas Buenas, Abonito, Añasco, Arecibo, and now 7 more questions. Arroyo, Barceloneta, Barranquitas, Bayamón, and now we go to the letter C. C. Cabo Rojo, Caguas, Camui. Okay, I beat the clock. Click go. Now we have 21 questions on the screen. Let me start that over. I'm going to go on with this. I'm going to go through this process. I'm going to show you another feature, a couple features. It asks for adjuntas. I could either click here, and if I don't know where it's at, I could click over here. It says, oh, that's Bayamón. Is this adjuntas? No, that's a Canovanas. I can use the show me, but okay, shows me that this is adjuntas. I just wanted to show you that feature, the show me button. Aguada, Aguadilla, Aguas Buenas, Bonito, Añasco, Arecibo, Arroyo. B, Barcelonitas, Barranquitas, Bayamón. C, Cabo Rojo, Caguas, Camui, Canovanas. And now we have 7 more questions. It asks for Carolina. Is this Carolina? No, that's Catania. Is this Carolina? No, that's Cialis. Show me. Okay, that's Carolina. Catania, Calle, Ceiba. No, that's Sidra. Where is Ceiba? Show me. Ceiba, Cialis, Sidra. Questions at the top. I was 8 seconds over. Okay, let's see what we can do. Adjuntas, Aguada, Aguadilla, Aguas Buenas, Abonito, Añasco, Arecibo, Arroyo. B, Barceloneta, Barranquitas, Bayamón. C, Cabo Rojo, Caguas, Camui, Canovanas, Carolina, Catania, Calle, Ceiba, Cialis, Sidra. And now we go to 28 questions, but here's a feature I want to show you. When I'm doing the 50 states as an example, 7, 14, and then I do 21, then 28, and then do 35. And then I get up to 42. I might have a problem with those up here at the 42. So instead of having to go through 7, 14, 21, 28, all the way to 41, 42, over and over and over, I can use a feature called the circle back 7. And it only shows the last 7 questions of the last level. So I know I can do the first 14 of the municipalities easily, but I'm getting stuck. Let's say I'm getting stuck on the last 7. I can click the circle back 7 feature and practice with these last 7. Okay, practice. Canovanas, Carolina, Catania, Calle, Seba, no, that's Sidra. Seba, no, that's Cialis. Seba, let's use your show me button. Seba, okay, Seba, Cialis, Sidra. I'm not confident enough to go on. I am not confident enough. I'm going to do the circle back 7 again. Okay. Canovanas, Carolina, Catania, Calle, Seba, Cialis, Sidra, Cialis, Sidra. Okay. I feel confident now. I feel confident. So now I'm going to go on to all 28. Or I could play all 21 again. This is the repeat. This is circle back 7. Let's go to all 28. Okay. You already know the first 14 really, really well. You can fly through those because you played it 8 or 10 times. Atuntas, Aguada, Aguadia, Aguas Buenos, Bonito, Añasco, Arecibo, Arroyo, B, Barceloneta, Barranquitas, Bayamon, C, Cabo Rojo, Caguas, Camui, Canovanas, Carolina, Catania, Calle. Okay. What are the next ones? Seba. No, this is Culebra. Seba. Cialis. I'm just kind of showing you guys. I know where these all are. Sidra, Coamo, but I want to show you the features. The show me button appears. Okay, this is Coamo. Coamo, if I get it wrong, it says, no, this is Dorado. Show me. Okay, this is Comerio. Corozal, Culebra, Dorado, Fajardo, Florida. I tell you what, the reason I beat the clock is we gave so much time. I built this system for an old guy who can't speak Spanish, and I gave myself a lot of time. But I was once 3 seconds over. Okay. Atuntas, Aguada. Whisper as you click Aguadia. Aguas Buenas, Bonito, Añasco, Arecibo, Arroyo, B, Barceloneta, Barranquitas, Bayamon, Cabo Rojo, Caguas, Camui, Canovanas, Carolina, Catania, Calle, Seba, Cialis, Sidra, Coamo, Comerio, Corozal, Culebra, Dorado, Dorado, Fajardo, Florida. I beat the clock. Now we go to 28 questions in random order. Let me see. We've got someone. I think there's someone watching a stream. If you're watching this and you have a comment or a question, send us a little comment. I will reply. You might have a question. I will reply if you have a comment or a question. So let's get back into that. And let's say 28 questions in random order. Click go. Aguas Buenos. In random order, you have more time. Okay. I've probably given us 93 seconds per question. It asks for Aguas Buenas, green light, Carolina, green light, Dorado, Añasco, Cabo Rojo, Adjuntas. Where is Adjuntas? That's the first one alphabetically. Bayamon, Aguadilla, Caguas, Cialis. Okay, I got a beep here. And they tell me we explored the dry desert. Okay, they explored that, and I'm not sure where they're going next, but they're having a great time. And I'm having a great time because I'm just learning how to do this. The guys are teaching me. When they get back, I'll tell them what my problems were. Actually, I'm learning. They'll probably be real proud of what I've done. I know they will be. They're good teachers. Fajardo, green light. Florida, Camui, Sidra, Arroyo. We are in Yauco. Okay. They are down here now. They are down here. I don't know if they're still close to the ocean or what, but that's where the guys are. Okay, very good. Okay. And I'm going to reply, cool. I gave him a little sunglasses emoji. Camarillo. Okay, here's Coamo, Camarillo, Corozal, alphabetically. These three, alphabetically, they're all red, so that helps me. When we're doing it in alphabetical order. Camarillo, Canovanas, Catano, Aguada, Coamo, Barceloneta, Culebra is the island, Ibonito, Barranquitas, Arecibo, Calle, Ceiba, and Corozal. Okay. I was talking a lot. I was talking quite a bit, so that's why I did not beat the clock. Okay, let's beat the clock this time. Aguada, Bayamon, Sidra, Coamo, Caguas, Culebra, the island, Cialis, Camui, Comerio, Ceiba, Fajardo, Florida, Calle, Ibonito, Catano. Where is Catano? Barceloneta, Aguadilla, Aguas Buenas, Barranquitas, Arecibo, Añasco, Canovanas, Carolina, Arroyo, Dorado, top at the top in the middle, Cabo Rojo, bottom left, southwest, Adjuntas, Corozal. Okay, I beat the clock. The next step is test mode. I've done it alphabetical, random, and now we move to test mode. All 28 questions. This is, I tell you what, once you get to where you do this and you can score 100%, if you're like me or you're like anybody, I wake up in the middle of the night and I think, what am I going to do? I'm going to count sheep, or I'm going to take the test of, I'll get to the test in a little while. I'm going to do this over and over. Okay, so now we're doing it in test mode. Click go. Calle, green light. Aguada, green light. Buttons do not disappear. Barranquitas, Sidra, Barceloneta, Ceiba, Canovanas, Aguas Buenas, Carolina, okay, Catano, Coamo, Fajardo, Fajardo, Camui. Oh, Camui is over here. Almost got that wrong again. Caguas, Arroyo, Ay Bonito, Florida, Corozal, Añasco. Where is Añasco? Añasco, Arecibo, Culebra, Bayamon, Cabo Rojo. Okay, I'm in test mode. I'm going to show you up here in the top left corner. I have answered 23 so far. It doesn't tell me if they're correct or not, right or wrong. It just says you've answered 23. Okay, Ciales, Dorado, Adjuntas, answer 26. Comerio, 27. I've answered 27. This is the last question, 28. I've answered 28. I've got 100%. And I can print a certificate. Okay. I'm going to exit. And I'm going to show you another feature. Another feature is, and if you're watching the live stream, you got a question or suggestion or comment, go ahead and send me a comment because I do look at them when I get a chance. Okay, so now I'm going to show you another feature of this system. I don't have to, I can go right to, for that particular game I just played, I can go right to review mode. And this is for practice and review. I click single player. Now, it's got all questions on the screen because they're in review mode. They're going to be in alphabetical order, and we're still racing the clock. This is what I do for practice. Whisper as you click Adjuntas, Aguada, Aguadilla, Aguas Buenas, Bonito, Añasco, Arecibo, Arroyo, Barcelonita, Barranquitas, Bayamon, Cabo Rojo, Caguas, Camui, Canovanas, Carolina, Catano, Camui, Ceiba, Ciales, Sidra, Coamo, Comerio, Corozal, Culebra, Dorado, Fajardo, Florida. That's just another mode we have. I'm going to go through that and show you that again. After you've learned, it's important to review early and review often. So after you've learned, you can go to review mode, click go, and fly through that. Aguada, Aguadillas, Aguas Buenas, Bonito, Añasco, Arecibo, Arroyo, Barcelonita, Barranquitas, Bayamon, Cabo Rojo, Caguas, Camui, Canovanas, Carolina, Catania, Calle, Ceiba, Ciales, Sidra, Coamo, Corozal, Culebra. No, this is Culebra. That was Corozal, Culebra, Dorado, Fajardo, Florida. That's how you can get right into review mode. But I'm going to show you also, I'm going to exit. I'm going to get back into that same game, and you can go right to test mode. If you want to test yourself, which I enjoy doing, if you want to test yourself or your teacher wants you to take it in test mode and score 100% and print the certificate, you can go right to test mode. You don't have to go through the whole process. I'm in test mode. I click single player. All 28 questions are on the screen in random order. Bayamon, Florida. The buttons do not disappear. Adjuntas. I'm going to have all 28 buttons on the screen when I get to the last one. Dorado, Corozal, Arroyo, Ciales, Sidra, Canovanas, Ceiba, Cabo Rojo, Barranquitas. Where's Barranquitas? Barceloneta, Barranquitas, Fajardo, Barceloneta, Añasco, almost clicked the wrong button. I'm in test mode. You're not racing the clock. You can stop and think. This is Aguas Buenas. This is Bonito. This is Aguada, Carolina. This is Canovanas, Carolina. Camui, Calle, Comerío, Arecibo, Caguas, Aguadilla. Culebra is the island, one of the two major islands. Cataño. Okay, I've answered 26 so far. Aguas Buenos, 27 so far. Coamo, and I got 100% right there in test mode. I'm going to exit. I could have printed the certificate or exit. So that is how the system works. And when we knew we were coming to Puerto Rico for the team meeting, one of the guys could not make it, but four of us came out here. Myself, the old man, our programmer, he's 55. The two younger guys who know so much about technology that they can help me with all these things, and our sales agent. But right now it's just me in the office in the Airbnb, and the guys are out exploring. And the last they said they were in Yauco, and I know where that's at. And as we traveled and as we explored this beautiful island, we come to a sign that says exit here for salida, I think means exit. We come to this sign that says Loquillo, and we know that's where we're headed. And we know where where was at. Yesterday we went to Utuado. I tell you what scared me to death, these little curvy roads up the side of the mountain. But it was beautiful. In Canovanas, they went to Yonke, which is the rainforest or the jungle, and it was beautiful. Truly beautiful. It rained, it seems so far. Look, I think it's rained here every day except yesterday. Rains. We were at a little cafe. They had some outside tables. They had a bunch of inside tables. And the inside, some in an area was covered. But me and the guys and I decided we're going to eat on the outside area, out in, away from the covered. And the waitress came over and she says, "It's going to rain here. You guys might want to eat inside." We said, "No, we can handle a little rain. We look like wimps or what? We're fine." So she brought us our drinks and she says, we took our orders and she says, "You sure you don't want to go under the overhang? It's going to rain." "No, we're fine. And just as she said, "Your food's coming out soon. You want to go inside?" We figured maybe this lady knows something that we don't know. So we went in under the cover of overhang, sitting there eating, and all of a sudden, boom, and this torrential rain came down right where we'd have been. Our food would have been soaked. We'd have been soaked. Everybody under the covered area would have laughed at us. We'd have been embarrassed, but it was funny. It was funny. So anyway, my point is, I think I do have a point. And the point is everybody has been so nice. Everybody has been so nice here. we are sometimes confused. What is this item on the menu? And Mark knows more Spanish than, and Matt took Spanish also. So I'm sitting there like a guy who doesn't know what they're talking about. And these guys tell me, oh, that's a chicken wrap with sweet plantains inside. It was so good. And so far, we've eaten completely at Puerto Rican cafes or restaurants. We stayed at a really nice place, except one time we ate at Church's Chicken, and we've seen a lot of Wendy's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, Wendy's, a few McDonald's, a lot of chains. And I have seen Church's Chicken in the United States, so I knew it wasn't like just simply a Puerto Rican place. So that's the only place we went that wasn't specifically a Puerto Rican restaurant. And the guys are more adventurous than I. And they had stuff, and they said, Bob, you got to try this. They cut off a part of something to put it over on my plate. And usually they give me a little bite because they know I'm paranoid. And then I said, wow, that's good. And they give me more. So I might have ordered one thing, and I got 3 different things on my plate, 4 different things, because the guys are giving me samples from one of their meals. And we'll tell you more about that. And actually, Matt will do a live stream, and Mark will do a live stream, and they're going to tell you more about what they saw and where we went. They will tell you more about, oh, here's the other thing. Well, there's a lot of other things, but while the 4 of us were together, we drove over to where the fort is, where the castle, I think they have a few castles and a few forts, but we went over where the Capitol building is located in the state capital of San Juan. Beautiful, beautiful building. It was on Isle of the Presidents. I think it might have been the name of the road. And on that road were statues of every president, every United States president who has visited Puerto Rico. And if I can find one that I went to, if I find it real quick here, because I had heard about that in the song, and I wanted to stand next to, that's Barack Obama. They had him all the way from Teddy Roosevelt statue, FDR, Kennedy has been here, Johnson has been here, Ford, President Ford, a couple of others, which I've forgotten. But to me, that was a big deal. I wanted to stand, get my picture taken next to the statue of Barack Obama, because that was in the song. If you get a chance, anyway, if you live in Puerto Rico, you know what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to tell you is going to go back to here. And I've already played. Here's another type of game we have. We have a few of the municipalities. This is just for reinforcement. This is adjuntas. If I get it right, I get a green light. This is Camui. This is Arecibo. If you get it wrong, this is Barranquitas. But I get it wrong, I click that, I get a red light. And this is Barceloneta, Cabo Rojo, different types of games to help reinforce what you've learned. Culebra, Little Island. This is That's cortisol. Apparently, I've got 20. Apparently, I've got all 28 of these in here. And this is a game that you can play to reinforce what you've learned. And did I even have that upright? I didn't have that upright. I tell you what, Reynolds. Okay, now I'm going to get into that again. And I'm going to show you this game is our flashcard game. And that is Adjuntas. That is Caguas. These are in random order, I think. This is Canovanas, Arecibo, and so forth. If I get it right, this is Bayamon. If I get it right, I get a green light. If I get it red, that is Ay Bonito. If I get it wrong, I get a red light. Okay, that's how that game works. So many ways to reinforce. I tell you what, guys. I tell you what. I have to take a break for a couple minutes. I have to take a break. And the guys tell me back in 5 minutes. Okay. And I'm going to make that comment. And then I'm going to put that comment on the screen. Show that. And I'm going to put it over to this format. So it says back in 5 minutes. And right now it's 8 minutes past some hour. I'll be back at 13 minutes past some hour. Okay, thank you. Oh man, not easy getting old. Have fun while you're whatever age you are. Make good use of every day. Oh. 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 Oh, man. I said I'd be back at 1:13, didn't I? That took longer than 5 minutes. That took longer than 5 minutes. Sorry, guys. Okay. And eat my Cheerios. I know you don't want to watch an old man eat Cheerios, but I got to do this. I got to eat. Breakfast of Champions or whatever it's called. Just give me a minute. I could eat this before they're all soggy, and then I'll get back into playing the game. I'll play South America next. In 2 minutes, I'll start playing South America. Okay. Oh man, this is not easy. This is not easy. Technology. Is not my strong suit. So here's the deal. We think geography is extremely important. I know geography is important. It's not something I believe, it's something I know. Geography is important. Geography knowledge can help you have more confidence in yourself, show respect to other people from around the world who are visiting or are immigrants or are tourists. I'll tell you about my bicycle friends in a future video. But and I'll also go on a rant about the lack of. I'll also go on a rant to tell you that most geography teachers cannot find Bangladesh, Bhutan, Brunei, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Bolivia on a blank map of the world. Most geography teachers cannot do that. If you could do that, you know, I'm going to tell you what, I'll tell you, my point is, here's my point. First of all, I'm going to collapse this channel and I'm going to show you where that channel came from. These are the basic things that are on our site. We focus on geography. And if you want to subscribe, it's very, very inexpensive. But you don't have to subscribe to get in and play our free geography games. These 12 or 14 games, when I click this thumbnail, it brings up this channel with these games. These 14 games, 12 games. With these 12 games, you can learn all 50 states, continents and oceans, countries of South America, Africa, Europe, Southeast Asia, the Middle East, provinces of Canada, 31 states of Mexico, countries of the Caribbean or the South Pacific. You can learn all those for free. I'm going to get in and play one of those, show you how it works. So, first of all, I'm not doing this right. I got to do that over because I wasn't doing it right. So now that I'm on the stage here, I click that, and I'm going to tell you that this is, each of these thumbnails is a game. And we also have, these are the basic things that comes with it. We also have free this week. Every week we put up a few different games for a week or two. Right now we have these games for Puerto Rico. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games for Puerto Rico. We have a whole set of games for Texas that's free. We have some other games that are free. And I got to that by clicking this thing that says free this week. That's free this week. I collapsed that. These are our 12 free geography games, and I'm going to get right into South America, and I'm going to show how to learn the country of South America. No, I'm going to go right into test mode and show you. In fact, I'll do that for a few things here. I'll do it for South America. I click go. It's in test mode. Chile. Chile looks like a long chili pepper. Paraguay. This is Uruguay. This is Paraguay. This starts with a U. This starts with a P. When you put the letters U and P together, it spells the word up. So from here, you go up from Uruguay up to Paraguay. It asks for Paraguay, get a green light. Suriname, Venezuela. Venezuela is wider at the top than it is at the bottom, kind of shaped like the letter V, as in Venezuela. Peru, Brazil, Uruguay, Guyana. This is French Guiana. This is Guyana. Colombia. Colombia is connected to Panama, to the Central America through Panama. French Guiana, Argentina, Bolivia, Ecuador. Ecuador would be where the equator would be. Falkland Islands. And we got 100%. And we exit from here. Let's get into continents and oceans. Oh, here's the other thing. No, let me get back to here. There are two goals of our system. Two goals. First goal, that you should be able to recite all the 50 states in 50 seconds. The 254 counties of Texas in 254 seconds. South America countries in 14 seconds: Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia. I had a stopwatch. I wrote a stopwatch in. Here we go. Here we go. I hope I got a battery that's working. Yeah. And let's go to this. And I'm going to show you that I'm going to recite all the countries of South America in 14 seconds. And did I get a text? I got a picture of the van. Picture of the van out there in the desert. Why did they send me? Are they stuck? I don't think so. Okay. I have 14 seconds to recite the 14 countries of South America. Okay. Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands, French Guiana, Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Uruguay, Venezuela. And I did it in 13 seconds or less. That's the goal. 13 seconds or less. Now notice as I was reciting, because of the game, because of the way the click and learn game works, is once you've learned, you have a mental map of where these things are located. Where did I click? We're doing it in alphabetical order. I click in alphabetical order. And so I won't tell you the stopwatch. So I point as I click. In my mental mind, I have a mind: Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands, French Guiana, Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Uruguay, and Venezuela. Most states, back when geography was taught in the United States, most states had a requirement that you develop a mental map of the world and a mental map of the United States. Well, that was their standard. That was what they required. But they taught geography so poorly, so terribly in the United States that nobody, and when I say nobody, let's just say that most students, after a full semester, could not score 100% on a blank map of the United States and could not recite the 50 states in alphabetical order in 50 seconds. Here we go. Here we go. Put it where you can see it. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. I have a feeling I must have skipped a few. If I got them all, that's in 35 seconds. I beat the clock. That's the goal. 50 seconds or less. So, if I had my life to start over, if you're a student and you care about the world, and you care about geography, and if you care about world peace, and if you care about respecting people from around the world, if you're a church minister and you want to teach respect to what did Jesus say? Love your neighbor. And he says, who is your neighbor? That guy who from the Good Samaritan. And the Samaritan was from Samaria or some country or province or whatever they had back then. And if you're a minister or a preacher, or if you're a teacher, if you're a social studies teacher, this system will help you be the best geography teacher in your state, your city, your school, your county, your state, because you'll be able to teach your students. You'll be able to show your students how they can learn the names, locations of all 50 states in 3 hours. Here's another thing. We have all seen the news about schools wanting to take these things out of schools. And I agree with that. I got friends or relatives that all they do is you go out to dinner and they're sitting there playing with their darn phone. Am I guilty? Yeah, I'm guilty too. But many schools across the country, many states across the country are keeping the phones out of the classroom. And they're also keeping computers, in many cases, out of the classroom because they don't want students to spend 8 hours a day or whatever you do in school on screen time. But with our system, if your students and they don't have to do it in the classroom, you can give your students an assignment, go to the library or go to use their own Chromebook or their own tablet or their own iPad or the computer and learn and play this game to learn 50 states. They can do it at home. They can do it at the library. They can do it at vacation. They can do it at Starbucks. They can do it at McDonald's. They can do it during the commercial on TV. And then, after they've spent that 3 hours learning the 50 states, it only takes 50 seconds a day for you as a teacher to review your students because the real bell rings, class starts. You say, okay, students, you got 50 seconds. Let's do the 50 states. And your students in unison, together, all of them, can take 50 seconds to do Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, and so forth. And then you move on to world history, United States history, the history of your state, the history of Puerto Rico, the history of your country. And they absorb what you're telling them because they know where these places are. When you talk about the gold rush and how the early pioneers came across because they thought they'd get rich out there in Sutter's Mill or whatever those places were. And you teach them about migration where they took ships down through the Panama Canal to get up to, I don't know if they had the Panama Canal at that point. Did they have to go through South America through some kind of straits of something where it's very dangerous? But they talk about migration. And when the teacher talks about that, you know what they're talking about. When your teacher talks about the Civil War in Gettysburg and the battles wherever they were. You absorb that because you know where these are located. When you hear the news, we were going to Utah, Salt Lake City last year at this time, and I saw something on the news about Bill Gates going to Beaver County, Utah, because there was a project where someone was drilling deep into the earth to get geothermal energy. I don't know how renewable that is. But the point is, when I heard the news and they talked about that, there was a news in the news. We'll tell you what's in the news. Venezuela just had, I think, 3 terrible earthquakes. I think over 1,000 people killed. Where is Venezuela? When you know where these countries are located, you have more respect for, you have more confidence in yourself, and you absorb the news better. You absorb the news because you know where those places are located. When I hear news of something going on in Texas, they usually say in Armstrong County, something happened. When they talk about something in Victoria County or Galveston, I have a friend that has a beachfront. What do you call it? A bay house in Galveston. You know where those are located. And I'm going to harp on this a lot. Geography, knowledge can help bring world peace. Because when you meet someone from around the world and you have confidence, when you know the countries of the world, where they're located, you have confidence that when they say they're from Jamaica, and I met a lady from Jamaica recently. If you don't know where the countries are, you are not going to take that risk. You're not going to ask people where they're from because they're going to say, I'm from Bangladesh. You're going to look like an idiot because you don't know where Bangladesh is located. But if you know what countries of the world, and they say they're from Bangladesh, you can say, I know where Bangladesh is. You have typhoons up there, right across the bay from India. And you know something about that. You know where it's located. I was in a bar recently. Actually, it's a restaurant grill. It's a restaurant bar. What do you call it? I was in Buffalo Wild Wings. And what game was on? Yes, the NBA playoffs, and the New York Knicks won that. But I'm in Buffalo Wild Wings. They got 50 TVs. You can watch 2 or 3 sports things going on at once there. So I get into the bar. I'm there so often. The bartender, David, thank you, David. The bartender, when he sees me walk in, when I sit down, he's got iced tea at my table when I sit down. Because he knows that's what I drink. He knows I'm just there to watch the sports. So we've got one of the games on the NBA on the screen, and it's in Spanish. I say, David, the bartender, why is this in Spanish? He said, well, the other one has a little bit of a delay. I said, it's in Spanish. I don't understand that. He says, you don't need to understand anything. You just watch the game and you see the score, which is true. And as a coincidence, 2 chairs over there, me, an empty stool, and another guy. The guy over there says, I know Spanish. If you have any questions, ask me. And I said, I've got some questions. I'm going to be going to Puerto Rico. I do not know how to pronounce these municipalities. And I would show him the list that I had. And he'd say, that's Quebradilla. Quebradilla. That's Barranquitos. So anyway, it was kind of cool. And I said to him, where are you from? He said, I'm from Central America. I said, no, no. What country are you from? He looked like me, like, you're asking me what country I'm from? You probably won't have any idea where. He said, I'm from Guatemala. I said, I know where Guatemala is located. Big smile. He said, you know where Guatemala is located? I said, yeah. Just to the west of Honduras, above Nicaragua, below El Salvador. And we had a conversation. All you have to do is show a little respect for somebody. Show a little respect for somebody from around the world. You have a conversation, and after the game is over, I'm still watching the Indiana Fever on a different TV, and this guy's Ray Levy reached out, shook my hand, said, have a nice evening. And that's what geography knowledge can help you do. That's when you know the names and location of the country of the world, and you meet somebody, you can say, where you from? And you can say something nice. You can be nice to people. You can show respect to people. You don't have to be, what do you call it? Not just egotistical. You can just be polite. And I respect people from around the world. I believe that. Here's what I really believe. And I hope, and I want to ask you this. I want to ask you, if you believe that God created you, you have to believe that God created every single person on this planet. And you shouldn't be around hating people just because of their religion or their color or their nationality or their orientation or the clothes they wear or their accent or anything. I believe life is miraculous. I believe it's incredible. I believe the fact we are here on this planet is one of the most miraculous things in the universe. The fact that we can see, the fact that we can hear. And here's the thing about Cyclops. How many eyes do a Cyclops have? I don't believe in Cyclops. But Cyclops have one eye. You know what two eyes help you do? Helps you with distance, I think. Helps you focus, I think. Ears helps you hear where this is coming from. It's come from the left. It's come from the right. We're behind you. Yes, the human body is a miracle. But every human person on this earth, the fact that they are alive is a miracle. And if you think you are special because God made you, what does that make you when you look down on somebody else for no important reason, for things they cannot control? For things they cannot control, their race, their nationality, and most people in the world cannot control their religion. When I was born into a religion, and that's what my parents were. What do I know? I knew nothing different. But I do believe that with geography knowledge and a decent respect, here's the other thing. I tell you a lot of things I believe, and you don't have to believe what I believe, because what I believe is what I believe. But I do believe everybody should respect other people. And I do believe everybody should be kind to other people. And I do believe that truly that every person on earth is a miracle. And when I meet someone, I met someone, here I was, and I was in a Starbucks actually here in Puerto Rico about 3 days ago. And the guys had gone off for a hike, a walk over to the, did they go to the castle or the fort that time? But they went out to do a little exploring. And I've stayed in Starbucks, had some kind of drink. And some guy and his wife came in. And the guy sits down over here, some black guy from somewhere, and his wife goes over here and she orders from Starbucks. I said to her, where are you from? Because I have confidence that when he tells me he's from India, Brazil, Algeria, Angola, Benin, and Botswana, I have confidence when he says he's from Botswana. I can say, I know where Botswana is located. I said, where are you from? He says, I'm from Houston. Well, he had a Houston baseball cap on, so that was kind of a clue to start with. But I sat there and visited with him, talked about the loop that goes around. I told him there's this loop that goes around Houston, and it's packed with cars. I said, as there 25 years ago, and I said, that thing was packed. He said, well, they got 3 loops now. They got one loop, an outer loop, and an outer loop. We had a conversation about Houston or Texas. I could have asked him I could have just, oh yeah, that's in Harris County. He might have been surprised or not. I don't know. But we had such a nice conversation. And he told me he was there on him and his wife had been married 39 years, and this was their anniversary trip. Let's go to Puerto Rico. And his wife got her order, and they came out, and she brought the stuff, and they headed out. I said, nice chatting with you. He left, and 5 or 10 minutes later, the guys came back, and they said they've done their hike. Let's go to this restaurant that someone had recommended. At about 3 or 4 blocks away. We walked to that restaurant, went in, we're sitting there eating. No, we're sitting there ordering. We had ordered. And I'm telling the guys about this guy I just met from Houston. I'm telling them about our conversation. And while I'm telling him, my guys while I'm telling them that, I looked out the window of this restaurant. We were close to it. We went in, around, sitting by the window. And I'm telling them about this guy from Houston. And I looked out the window. I said, there's that guy. There's that guy. I said, guys, I got to go out and say hello to this guy. So I went out. The guy probably thought I was a stalker or something. But I went out and I said to him, I tapped him on the shoulders. I said, how are you doing? He said, what do you need? Well, I realized that you just don't go up and talk to strangers, say, how's things going? And I said, were you the guy at Starbucks? He says, yeah. Well, the reason I had to ask if it was the same guy is because I have prosopagnosia, called face blindness. I can talk to somebody for 5 or 10 minutes and not recognize them later. When I saw him outside, I said to the guys, that's a guy. He had the hat on. I was pretty sure it was him. But he had it on backwards this time. So I told him, I said, I was just telling the guys about you. I said, and here you are out at Ritus. And he looked in the window of the restaurant, and one of my buddies taking a picture of me and this guy. And it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool. I really enjoyed it. So anyway, I want to show you, what else do I want to tell you? I want to tell you about Puerto Rico. If you are a teacher or an administrator or the Secretary of Education for Puerto Rico, we can put this software into all your schools for a very, very very low price, less than the price of a Happy Meal per student all across the island. And once your students know the names and locations of all 78 municipalities, let me get into that again. I'm going to show you one of the things I really enjoy. This is really what I do. I wake up in the middle of the night and I say, I'm going to play Puerto Rico in test mode. How do I get to Puerto Rico? I go to free this week. I'm going to slide over and it's about the 5th thumbnail over. I'm going to select this thumbnail. I'm going to switch to test mode. I'm going to click go. I'm going to the go button, single player and go. And once your students know this, when they hear and when we hear that there's something really cool out on Isabella, the municipality, we know where this is where it's at. When we hear this, there's some bioluminescent stuff on Culebra. We know this is where it's at. When we hear there's a dry desert, dry forest, they call it, down in Ponce, we know where that's located. But when your students, if you're a teacher or administrator in Puerto Rico, and your students know this, and you're talking about the history and the beauty of Puerto Rico, they absorb more of what you're talking about and when they hear the news about something happened in some place, they're going to absorb the news because they know what the names and locations of the municipalities are located. So I'm only going to, this is my last, I'm going to be doing this about another, let's say, I've been doing it, I'm going to do it about another 7 or 8 minutes. And then I'm going to take a break for a few hours and the guys will be back. You get to meet Matt and you get to meet Mark because they're going to co-present with me because they're teaching me stuff. So when they get back, they're going to help me go through this and we'll do another live stream this evening. But for right now, I'm going to get in and I'm going to show how I can score 100% on this map of the 78 municipality. That's for Toa Baja. This is Toa Alta. This is Toa Alta. This is Toa Baja. Green light. Naguabo. Ay Bonito. This is Ay Bonito. I get a green light. Vieques. If I get all these green, Fajardo, I'll get 100%. Comarillo. This is Coamo. Comarillo. And I'm working the pronunciation. Naranjito would be this one. Correct. A green light. Las Piedras. We're down in Puerto Rico, Maracaibo. And before we got here, we learned the names, location. Aguas Buenas, Vega Alta. This is Manatee, Vega Alta. Green light. Guanabo. Guanabo, okay. Luisa, Villalba, Quebradillas, Cabo Rojo, Corozal. Stick with me for a minute and see if I get 100%. Corozal, a green light. Catano, a green light. If you're from Puerto Rico, you know if I'm getting them right or wrong before I even click. And if you don't know, this software needs to be in your schools. San Sebastian, Florida, Ormagueras, Aguada. I'm getting pretty good. I think I'm getting pretty good at Ponce, pronouncing Adjuntas. First one alphabetic. Utuada, that's where we went yesterday to a place called the White Canyon. The road was scary. That was beautiful, though, beautiful. In the jungle. Morovis. This is Morovis, Coamo, Moanabo, turn the knob, Moanabo, green light, Caye, Quaiania, Guayania. Okay. Right here. Uncos. Green light. Cialis. Got it. Culebra, the island. Got it. Trujillo Alto. There are 3 that start with the letter T. Mayaguez. Otillo. Green light. San German. Caguas. Caguas is in that song San Juan, the capital city of San Juan is in the municipality of San Juan. This is where that's located. Las Marias, Juana Diaz, green light, Vega Baja. This is Vega Baja, green light, Cialis, Guanica, Rio Grande. Met a guy in Rio Grande recently, a couple days ago. Padillas, Aguadilla, Yauco. The guys were in Yauco. Mark and Matt were in Yauco a couple hours ago. Conovanas, Luquillo. We were in Luquillo on a beach there. It's supposed to be one of the most popular family beaches. We were there a couple days ago. Barceloneta, Carolina, Santa Isabel, Lares, Lajas, got it. Orocovis, green light. Hayuya, concentrate. Rincon, I got a green light. Toa Alta, green light. Manatee, Lajas, Penuelos, right next to Ponce. Bayamon, San Lorenzo, Ceiba, is that there below Fajardo? Sabana Grande, Humacao, Yabucoa, Arroyo, Mocha, Guayama. Got a spam call. Gurabo, green light. I've answered 72 so far. If I get the next 6 right, I'll get 100%. Barranquitas, correct. Añasco, I got, I think, 4 more. Dorado, Isabela, Camui. I've answered 77. If I get this correct, I get 100%. And I got 100%. And I can print a certificate. But the main thing is, it's easy. If I can do it at my age, you and your students and your friends can do it much better, much easier, much faster. So thank you for your comments. Thank you for your caring about geography. And thank you for the guy who just said fantastic. I'm going to put him on the screen. There we go. Fantastic. Thank you. I'm just learning how to do this live streaming. Old dog, new tricks. The guys are showing me how. But my point is, I've been doing this for 3 hours, and I need to take a nap. When the guys get back in a few hours, we're going to get back in, and you get to meet them. Mark is going to live stream for at least a half an hour. I will do it for a half an hour. Matt will do it for a half an hour. And we'll tag team. We're going to challenge each other. I think that'll be fun. In the meantime, thank you all for watching. And seriously, check back in. Right now, they should be back in 3 hours. And if you want to check back, you get to meet them. Really nice guys. Really nice, guys. So thank you all for watching. And here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Thank you all for watching. And we'll see you in the next video. And thank you, the guy that said fantastic. Really appreciate it. I need all the encouragement I can get. Take care. And that's it.